far as batting average goes. 2 pitch. Outside, blocked by Palma. And the count is now full on Sky Valentine. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Last night, a rainout. The Pilots were supposed to play Onondaga, but that one did not happen. This one's back toward the press box area, sitting high atop the home plate grandstand, and remains full. One of the things Anthony Barone talking about in the start of the season is stressing to his hitters, go ahead and have a look there at the plate, try to drag some of these at-bats out into high numbers of pitches. Right now, this one up to 7. Here's pitch number 8. It's in the dirt. It's ball 4, and that drives in. And Chris Conley up to second. One time, the old RBI walk. And Chris Estrada, third baseman, steps in now. Estrada hitting .278. Here in the early season, he's 5 for 18, and he scored 3 runs. Bases still loaded, nobody out. First pitch to him. Palma, when he catches those, it looks to be high, but the call is in the favor of Will Frank. Strike 1. I think it's just the way Palma is catching those. They are a little bit high, but it looks a little bit higher. 0-1 pitch is low in the same area around the plate. And the count is now even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Chris Estrada, a newcomer from UTSA. But we have really enjoyed having the guys at the University of Texas San Antonio here in Jamestown. They've been great players for this team. And we have 2 of them on base right now. Ben Brookover down at third, and Skylar Valentine is down at first. Chris Estrada hails from Corpus Christi, Texas. 1 ball, 2 strikes count on him. Will Frank's 1-2 pitch. High outside, counts even at 2. Patient at bats, the key to success. Sometimes that just doesn't happen. That is an acquired thing, and you have to concentrate on it. Here's the pitch. Grounded right up the middle, past the glove of the pitcher Frank, and they'll only get 1. Skylar Valentine at second base, as it goes from the second baseman Orr to Odekirk, the shortstop, forcing out Skylar Valentine. Prada then on base on the fielder's choice. Run comes in. Ben Brookover. Kind of wish Will Frank would have deflected the ball somehow. That would have messed that play up. We'd still have the base, but we did get a run in, so not going to complain about that. Conley now at third, Estrada down at first. And the first pitch to designated hitter Matt Cross is called strike 1. Matt listed on the roster as a third catcher. We have 3 this year with Chris Conley, Connor Rule, and diving back in safely, Chris Estrada. Chris Conley at third, keeping a close eye on that action in case he's Battaglia, the first baseman, and he might have a chance to score. 0-1 the count to Cross. Will Frank's 0-1 pitch. Out in the dirt, the count's even at 1. No balls and 2 strikes to the right-handed hitting second baseman Nick Burnick. The guy that started the inning, Colin Stack, is on deck. 5 runs in for the Jammers here in the bottom of the first, leading 5-0. Cut and a miss, and that will be out number 3 for the Jammers and also for the Newark Pilots. The Jammers score 5 runs on 4 hits. There were no errors for the Pilots and 1 runner left on base. The score now at the end of 1, it's Jamestown 5, Newark nothing. Back with more right after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
When Dad needed help getting around, I became his driver. Soon it was up to me to be his housekeeper and financial manager. When he moved in, I became his cook and
works another caregiver.
In tonight's game. Due up for the Newark Pilots in their half of inning number 2 will be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, Ober Torres, Brant Nowoski, and Colton Carney. Due up 5, 6, and 7. Ober Torres at the plate for the first time tonight. And Quinn Taylor's pitch is down low in the dirt, and Rick Elrod making sure he didn't catch that one. Kind of skipped back away from Chris Conley, and he looked back and he's there. Don't worry, I got you covered. Ball 1. Quinn Taylor with a 1-0 pitch. Chop foul down between the third base coach, Mr. Mayotte, and the Jammers dugout. John Mayotte, the head coach of the Newark Pilots. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Torres. Taylor's pitch. Off-speed delivery, way out in front of it. Chris Conley does that thing that catchers do when you make a good pitch. He points out at you, and he says, basically, way to go. Beautiful pitch, and indeed it was. 1-2 the count now. This one's hit in the air to right field. Colin Stack has it measured, and he makes the catch to retire Torres for out number 1.
Now up the bat, 31, Nowoski.
Nowoski steps to the plate for the first time tonight. He is the designated hitter in the lineup for Coach Mayotte. Hits that one. High chopper fielded by Estrada. Strong throw over to first. A little bit high, but Ben Brookover is not exactly a short guy. Ben stretches up there and makes the catch of the throw from Estrada. 6-1, Brookover. And Estrada at 6-1 too. So we got the 6-1 corners here for the Jamestown Jammers. First pitch swinging, not necessarily the thing you want to see, I don't think, as a head coach. And then to see that particular result, I'd like the batters to have a look at the pitcher, and that was not what Nowoski did. At the plate now, right fielder Colton Carney. That pitch is in the dirt, and he's trying to see if the ump said it caught his shoe, and he has no decision on that. And there's going to be a consultation between Rick Elrod and Leo Cintron. In the meantime, Carney tosses his bat toward the Pilots' dugout and heads down to first, and Anthony Barone comes out. And now Anthony is going to inspect that ball. The bat boy for the Pilots tonight threw the ball over to Anthony Baroni, immediately checked for shoe polish. Couldn't find any. So a runner on with 2 out now for Newark. And at the plate, it is Dominic Palma. And the first pitch to him is strike. Make that ball 1. I thought it was a little bit better than that, but home plate umpire Rick Elrod did not agree. That pitch is outside in the dirt, and that will allow Colton Carney to reach, but not by much. What a throw by Conley. On a pitch in the right-hander's batter's box with a left-handed hitting Palma up there, he was able to come up with that and still make a close play of it at second base. So Carney now at second base with 2 out and a 2-ball no-strike count on Dominic Palma. 2-0 pitch from Quinn Taylor in the dirt and between the legs of catcher Chris Conley all the way to the home plate grandstand, and that allows Carney to move up to third base. So now the potential first run of the game for the Newark Pilots standing down at third base in the person of Colton Carney. And Dominic Palma will step back in to face Quinn Taylor. 3-0 the count to Palma. That pitch in the dirt as well bounced about a foot in front of the plate. And that brings Hayden Carter quickly out of the Jamestown dugout. It's kind of strange. I mean, things were moving along just fine for Quinn Taylor, and all of a sudden there, in that at-bat to Palma, just unable to get the ball there. And on his way up to the rubber, up the hill, Quinn Taylor doing a little landscaping with his cleats on the way up, listening to what Hayden Carter has to say. Joined out there by Chris Conley, and Rick Elrod comes out to chase Hayden Carter by the Jammers dugout. So now runners at the corners with 2 out for the Pilots, and second baseman Christian Orr steps in. Ready to face Quinn Taylor. First game at the plate for Christian Orr. And the first pitch to him misses outside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Runners at the corners and 2 out. Jammers up by a score of 5-0. Pitch misses outside, low, ball 2, and suddenly Quinn Taylor cannot find the strike zone. Two balls, no strikes, and the pitch by Taylor popped up. Going out, Nick Bernick, the second baseman, coming in, Colin Stack, and Stack calls off Bernick and makes the catch. So an interesting situation there, as it seemed as though Quinn Taylor lost sight of the strike zone and was unable to hit it, and thankfully Christian Orr decided to pop one out to Colin Stack to bring the inning to an end. I'm sure some discussions will be going on in the Jammers dugout between Hayden Carter and Quinn Taylor as quickly as he can, because, of course, Hayden goes down to coach first base. For Newark, in their half of inning number 2, they got no runs on no hits, no Jammers errors, and 2 runners left on base. At the end of 1, the score, Jammers 5 and the Pilots nothing. More after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
You hit the snooze bar. You checked your email. You checked your fantasy football team. You rejected an insulting trade offer. You ate your lunch. You did all the things that one normally does the day before per hours through your city, leaving it in a state of ruin. You never know when the day before is the day before. At red.gov/today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Bottom half of the second inning, we're going to roll everything around and start at the top of the order again for the Jamestown Jammers. Worked pretty well for them in the bottom half of inning number one as they were able to bring across 5 runs on 4 hits against the Newark Pilots. And starting pitcher Will Frank. There is activity in the Pilots' pen, so take that as a sign that head coach John Mayotte is not going to be willing to go very far with Will Frank already trailing by 5. Colin Stack started the game with a sharp single to right field. It went out in that area of the hole between first and second, but into the outfield far enough that Colton Carney could not get to it and hit hard enough that nobody from the infield was going to be able to get back there. So great start by Stack in tonight's ball game. Anthony Barone leading him toward the leadoff spot, and it paid off in the first. However, Will Frank is quickly ahead of Stack. No balls and 2 strikes here in the top of this, or bottom that is, of the second inning. Time called by Colin Stack. Home plate umpire Rick Elrod let Jamestown and probably anybody between here and Chautauqua Lake know that he called time. Line drive up the middle, another hit for Colin Stack. Stack gets on base both times so far in the ball game, and it brings up Ben Brookover. Ben hit a shot in the hole between short and third. Shortstop Tyler Odekirk got to it, but it went off his glove and into left field, and Ben eventually came around to score, as did Colin Stack. I don't know if I mentioned that. See what Ben can do here. 5 runs on 5 hits now for the Jammers, and Ben stepping in to face Will Frank. Frank from the stretch with the pitch. Outside corner, strike 1 called. Ben Brookover, the right-handed hitter. Ben, of course, hails from San Antonio, Texas. UTSA right in his backyard. Well, kinda. Say hello to the Brookover family. They've been fans of the broadcasts here on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network. And I'm sure they're keeping track of Ben here tonight. No balls and 1 strike to count to Ben in the pitch. There goes Stack, and little run and hit. And Ben Brookover made contact but did not catch up with it square. It went straight to the netting of the home plate grandstand. And you know what they say about those. The difference between that and another single for Ben Brookover might be somewhere around 1/4 of an inch or so on that bat. 0-2 the count. Stack back at first. There's a reasonable lead. Lengthens it out, and then Ben Brookover gets a hold of one and hits it foul. Somehow it made it through that light standard. Looked pretty close to banging off of that, but it makes it over into the picnic area, and the count remains no balls and 2 strikes on Ben. Looking forward to visiting the Onondaga Flames in the upcoming road trip. Beautiful facility from what I can tell at Onondaga Community College. Spoke with the owner of the team today, just checking to make sure everything was on the up and up for our visit on Friday, which it is. Looking forward to being in Onondaga. Right now in Jamestown with Ben Brookover at the plate and an 0-2 count on him. Ben fouls it back, just getting a piece of it there. Stays alive at the plate. Count still 0-2. Of course, the Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park field is on the edge of the Jamestown Community College campus. City of Jamestown takes care of it, and Dom and his crew do an excellent job maintaining this field. I tend to think it's the best one in the league, but that's just me. Maybe I'm a little biased in my opinion. 1-2 the count. Will Frank on the hill from the stretch. That pitch misses. Pops away from the catcher, Dominic Palma. Unfortunately, Stack was not going that time, but Ben stays alive at the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Anthony Barone talking about lengthening these at-bats and being patient at the plate. Ben has this one up to a 6-pitch at-bat. 2-2 pitch again. Inside, a bit high, and Ben takes ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The warming continues in the Pilots' bullpen. A little more in earnest now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ben steps back in. Has his right foot at the back of the batter's box and pretty close to the line. Pops it up to right field. Colton Carney gets under it and makes the catch. Colin Stack was about 7/8 of the way to second base that time. And as he realized that Carney was going to get under it and make the catch, he started peeling back toward the bag, and Ben had hit it high in the air enough that it gave him more than enough time to retreat back to the bag at first. It'll bring up catcher Chris Conley. Conley hitting .500. That's 7 for 14 by the by, as he has been in all 4 Jammers games. There goes Colin Stack down to second, and he's in safely as the throw hits him. And it looked like nobody was on the same page there. And now the second baseman Christian Orr and shortstop Tyler Odekirk will have a discussion as to what happened there, who was supposed to cover. Stolen base, Colin Stack. Runner at second with 1 out now for Chris Conley. In his first at, he walked. Buddy got an RBI for that. It drove in a run. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Skyler Valentine. Sorry about that. But he did walk, and he did come around to score. Next pitch to Christ is a strike, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike on the Jammers catcher. Left-handed hitter is Chris Conley. Runner at second, Stack with 1 out. That catch is inside corner, and it's called strike 2 by Rick Elrod. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on the Jammers catcher. Jammers off to a great start. They had a great start the other night against Geneva, and Geneva snuck into it at the end. Not quite enough to catch the Jammers, but certainly made it interesting there at the end of the game. Next pitch to Conley was taken for a ball, and the count's even at 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Colin Stack led off with a single to center. He's at second. I was starting to bail out on that one. It was headed my way. Fouled back off the bat of Chris Conley. Ends up going up over the press box and out into the concourse area, I would imagine. Count remains even at 2 on Chris Conley. Catcher Dominic Palma goes out to have a word with Frank. And the activity in the Pilots' bullpen has ceased. So we will see what becomes of all of that. 2-2 count to Chris Conley. Runner at second, Stack. 1 out. And a pitch. Well outside, ball 3. When you look up patient at bat, on Wikipedia, there's a video of this one with Chris Conley. 3-2 the count to him. Frank on the hill from the stretch with a payoff pitch. Ball 4. So Conley makes his way down to first. And will bring up Skyler Valentine. So Valentine steps in. He walked and picked up an RBI back in the first inning. He was eventually forced out at second base, so he didn't get to be a part of the run parade. 5 of them for the Jammers in their half of the first. First pitch to Valentine inside the dirt. Palma keeps it in front of him. Dominic Palma, the catcher for the Pilots, keeps the runners from advancing, and it's ball 1 to Schuyler. And once again, activity in the Pilots' pen. 1 ball, no strikes. And pitch. Ripped into left field. It gets down. Can it get by the left fielder? Nice play out there by John Ballier. But turning the corner at third, coming home to score is Colin Stack. As the shortstop Tyler Odekirk could not hang on for the relay throw in. Popped right out of his glove. And if it was going to be close, it wasn't going to be after that happened. Stack gets in. Valentine down at first with the RBI single. He pulled that one right into the right spot. Chris Conley stopped at second base. First and second, 1 out, another run in for the Jammers. They're up 6-0. At the plate, Chris Estrada fouls back the first pitch off the facade of the press box. Bounces right back down in the field. Strike 1. No balls and 1 strike
Is the limbo rock ready to go?
to Chris Estrada. Estrada, 278 in the season, 5 for 18. He scored 3 times. Actually, make that 4 because he just came in there after he reached on a fielder's choice back in the first. Also picked up a stolen base. Chris Estrada has impressed thus far for the Jammers. The next pitch to him was a strike called, and the count now no balls and 2 strikes. And the 0-2 pitch is high now. Inning started with Colin Stack ripping one right up the middle. Ben Brookover then hit a fly ball out to right. Stack moved up with a stolen base. Then Conley came to the plate and walked. This one's popped up in the infield. Old infield fly stuff here as the shortstop Tyler Odekirk makes the catch. And Estrada is out, number 2. Runners at first and second with 2 out now for Matt Cross. Matt Cross, the designated hitter tonight, driving home some runs with a double back in the first inning. Jammers brought 5 across there. They have 1 across here in the second. 6-0 Jammers. Will Frank, the starting pitcher on the hill, trying to finish this inning out and keep the Jammers off the board. First pitch to Matt Cross misses, and it's a 1. 1 ball and no strikes to the DH of the Jamestown Jammers. By the way, Stack's still perfect at the plate. He's now 3 for 3 in the season after he hit that double. Time called by Matt Cross. I'm sorry, I was talking about Colin. I meant to be talking about Mr. Cross. Matt Cross at the plate. For that matter, Stack is still perfect at the plate, but he's now 4 for 4. Pitches outside low to Cross. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Chris Conley down at second. Schuyler Valentine at first. Colin Stack has come in to score. Jammers up 6-0. Will Frank, the starter on the hill, right-handed pitcher for Coach Mayotte. 2-0 pitch. A little bit out in front of it, but still getting a piece of it was Matt Cross, and the count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Will Frank from Grand Island, New York. Chris Conley has a good idea about what Will Frank brings to the game, as he is a fellow attendee at Canisius. Matt Cross at the plate for Anthony Barone's Jammers. Matt at Niagara County Community College. The pitch to him is high and outside as well. Palma gets up there and is able to bring it down. It's ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. Should Cross reach? Alex O'Donnell up next on deck. 3 balls, 1 strike, and 2 out. Frank pitching from the stretch, comes set at the belt. And the 3-1 pitch. High outside, ball 4. Now the bases are loaded for OD. Alex, sacrifice fly and an RBI back in the first. And out of the dugout is the pitching coach for the Newark Pilots, Bennett Schultz, and he is going to take out starting pitcher Will Frank. So that will do it for Frank. We'll give you some numbers on him in just a second here. Let you know how he did. Check who's coming in here for the Pilots. And it's Peng Fei Wong. Peng Fei Wong in to pitch. And Wong hails from New Taipei, Taiwan, attending Vanun College. He is a senior, obviously still has a year of eligibility remaining. So he makes his warm-up tosses. Anthony Barone has to be happy with the way things are proceeding thus far for his Jammers. As you know, there was any number of disappointments there in last night's game, one of which was the offense. The offense thus far has been able to take advantage of situations that they have and been able to bring runs across. 5 in the first and now a single tally here in the second to lead this game by a score of 6-0. And Alex O'Donnell will get to be the first batter to face. Peng Fei Wong. Runner at second is Chris Conley. Skylar Valentine. Conley's at third after the walk to Matt Cross. Valentine is at second. So we'll see what Peng Fei Wong brings to the mound for the Newark Pilots. As I say, Alex O'Donnell, the first batter to face Wong here in the bottom half of the second inning. Jammers trying to take advantage of another potential run-scoring situation with the bases loaded. Yeah, there's 2 out, but you'd like to get some here. First pitch by Wong. Nice one over the outside corner, taken by O'Donnell. Strike 1 called. No balls and 1 strike. Peng Fei Wong is a right-handed thrower on the hill for the Newark Pilots. Off-speed pitch, just high enough to be called strike 2. OD quickly behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Bases loaded. OD trying to make something happen. The 0-2 pitch is just about to be delivered by Peng Fei Wong. And Alex O'Donnell fouls this one over the first base bleachers, and the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Chris Conley doing some ground crew work down as he came down the third base line and noticed that the third base line was a little hard and kind of cracking down there, so he did a little work on that. Time called by OD, steps back in. Right-handed hitting shortstop of the Jammers, ready to face Beng Fei and the home plate grandstand. Count still, no balls and 2 strikes. Wong featuring a lot of slow pitches here early on in the Alex O'Donnell at bat. 0-2 the count and the pitch. High, count now 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Onondaga Flames, new team to the PGCBO. As I said, we'll be visiting there on Friday. You'll be able to catch the action here on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network. The 1-2 pitch. Sharp grounder down the third baseline. Short hop attempt by Jorge Leon. It hits in the heel of his glove. He cannot come up with it. And Alex O'Donnell is down at first. And that will be an error charge to Jorge Leon.
Left fielder number 7,
Christian Deaton will step in. And a discussion out there on the mound between Deaton, the 8th batter at the plate in the inning. Jammers batted around in the first. Off-speed pitch by Wong is on the inside corner and taken by Deaton, strike 1. Could almost order pizza between. Was almost ready to go, and time was called by Deaton. Steps out and right back in. Runner at third, Valentine. Cross at second. O'Donnell down at first. A 1 pitch. Taken by Deaton, and the count is now even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 7 runs, 6 hits, and no errors for the Jammers. No runs, no hits, and an error for the Newark Pilots. One pitch is popped up in the infield. Shortstop Tyler Odekirk makes the catch, and that will do it for the Jammers in their half of inning number 2. They add a couple to the total, 2 runs for the Jammers on a couple of hits, an error to the Newark Pilots. And the bases, unfortunately, left loaded once again. The score at the end of 2, it is Jammers 7, Pilots nothing. Back with the third right after this. It's Jamestown Jammers Baseball, and it is the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Okay, forest animals. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up. Is a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird song?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Back at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York. Jammers up 7-0. Quinn Taylor out for his third inning of work for Anthony Barone and the Jamestown Jammers. And we'll see if Quinn is in a little better condition this time around to get some strikes in there. Seemed to just absolutely lose the strike zone, and everything he was throwing was low there at the end of the second inning, but he had enough to get through it, kept Newark off the board, And everything starts anew here with the top of the order, Tyler Odekirk. Odekirk grounded out to the second baseman, Nick Bernick, for the first out of the first inning. Had his bat like he was going to bunt, pulls back and watches that one go over the outside corner and get called as strike one. Got Chris Estrada's attention, but he backs up and plays normal third base position now. That one so high that Conley was stretched the whole way up and it went off the tip of the catcher's mitt. One the count and the pitch. Way outside, ball two. 2 balls and 1 strike to Tyler Odekirk. Odekirk from Mission Viejo, California, attending Irvine Valley, sophomore there. Facing Quinn Taylor. Ooh, that looked like that one that normally gets called a strike in the outside corner. Not that time. Ball 3, 3 balls and 1 strike. Odekirk 0 for 9 so far in the season, and he draws a leadoff walk. Pitch miss well outside, ball 4. Quinn Taylor struggling a little bit out there. First inning went well for him, but the end of the second and beginning of the third here has not been the best. No activity in the Jammers' pen to this point. Wouldn't necessarily expect it. And the first pitch to third baseman is outside in the dirt to the left-handed hitting third baseman. Ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. 7-0 Jammers lead, top of the third. Runner at first, Odekirk. Ground ball to second baseman Nick Bernick, goes to O'Donnell for 1. Over to Brookover. That's a double play. Quinn Taylor pitching to contact that time, gets a nice ground ball to Nick Bernick. And everything worked nicely around the infield there as Nick goes to OD, and nice throw by OD over to Ben Brookover. And now the slate has been erased. Bases are empty, 2 out, and John Ballier at the plate. First pitch well outside to Ballier, and that is ball 1. 1 ball, no strike pitch from Taylor. Line drive over the head of Nick Bernick. He jumped. He couldn't have got to it. It's in the gap. Going over to get it, though, is Colin Stack. Throw in. Gets by Bernick, but O'Donnell is able to stop it. And it is a double. First hit of the ball game for the Newark Pilots. A double off the bat of John Ballier. Runner at second base now with 2 out for the Pilots, and Peter Battaglia, the first baseman, steps in. Pete wears number 18. The first pitch to him, well outside, ball 1. Battaglia coming into the game, hitting .250, 3 for 12. It's been in all 3 Pilots games to this point as a starter. 1-0 pitch. Home plate umpire Rick Elrod says he went around, tried to check his swing, but did not. And the count is even up now at 1-1 on Peter Battaglia. 2 out, runner at second, Ballier. Quinn Taylor on the hill for the Jammers with a 1-1 pitch. This is well outside, and the count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Two-one the count. Quinn Taylor with a 2-1 pitch. Catches outside corner. Things are even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. One thing so far I can say about Taylor, although he's been having trouble getting some strikes called and finding the strike zone, he's doing okay here now. 2-2 count, and the pitch is fouled back over the press box and off the roof and into the concourse area at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. Count remains even at 2 on Battaglia. Should Battaglia reach, Ober Torres will step in next, the center fielder. 2-2 pitch. Popped up, might be playable. Ben Brookover gives chase over by the Pilots dugout. He goes into a slide in the dirt area just beyond the Pilots dugout, and he's unable to come up with it, so it falls, and Battaglia lives to watch another pitch from Quinn Taylor. Started the game with the typical shadow alignment. It has progressed across the field, and everybody is in the shade now. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. This pitch is fouled over toward the Jammers dugout. Battaglia having a long at-bat against Quinn Taylor here. Jammers, by the way, dressed in their home whites tonight. Jamestown Jammers in script across the front in navy, trimmed in that bright lime green. 2-2 pitch on its way. Another one fouled off by Battaglia. He's now turned this into an 8-pitch at-bat. He's fouled off 4 pitches since the count was 2-2. See what Quinn Taylor and Chris Conley come up for pitch number 9. Here comes from Taylor. Off-speed pitch well out in front of it. Battaglia cuts and misses, and that is strike 3. Nice job by Quinn Taylor. He did give up a double in the inning. No runs, though, on that one hit. No Jammers errors, and a runner left. The score now at the end of 2 1/2 innings. Jammers Pilots nothing. More after this on Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Hi, I'm Layla Ali. I might be undefeated in professional boxing, but there's one problem I can't fight alone: childhood hunger. 17 million kids in America struggle with it. That's why America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
To help solve hunger in our community and to food bank, visit America.
Back at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, where the Jamestown Jammers are off to a 7-0 lead, heading to the bottom of the third, and there is a new catcher in the game for the Newark Pilots. It looks like Pochon Pon in to catch Peng Fei Wong. Both young men from Taiwan. Pon is from Taichung City, and Peng Fei Wong is from New Taipei. Both attending Vanung College. So mark that change up for John Mayott's Newark Pilots. At the plate for the Jammers, Nick Burnick, number 9 hitter to lead things off. Jammers batted around back in the first. Sent 8 to the plate in the second, scored 5 in the first, 2 in the second. Nick Burnick at the plate, fouled off the first pitch for strike 1. Wong's next pitch on the outside corner taken by Nick, and the count is quickly no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count to Nick Burnick. And the pitch by Wong misses outside and low. It was held there by Pon, the catcher, and he did not get the call. I guess even in Taiwan, they've learned about holding the pitch there. Solid hit to center field off the bat of Nick Burnick. Reached out and hit a nice line drive shot out there. And the leadoff man is on for the Jammers once again. This time in the bottom of the third. And it brings up Colin Stack, who's just batting 1,000 for the Jammers. 2 for 2 last night. 2 for 2 tonight. Of course, his OPS is 2. The number 2. With a point and 3 zeros after it. Wong made a throw over to first, and getting back was Nick Bernick. And the first pitch to Colin Stack is in there for a strike over the outside corner. No balls, 1 strike. Stack gets around on that and fouls it back to the press box. Hits and rattles around. I think it stayed in the press box that time. No balls and 2 strikes to Colin Stack. Bernick ripped a single to center field. He's down at first. And that pitch misses for ball 1. Count now 1-2 on Colin Stack. Ben Brookover on deck for Anthony Barone's Jammers. Here in the bottom half of the third, Jammers up by a score of 7-0. Wong's pitch way high, and the count is now even at 2 on Colin Stack. Peng-Fei Wong is 5'9", $176, and his battery mate, Po-Chon Pan, is 5'10", $187. 2-2 the count to Stack. Bernick with a good lead down at first, and Wong decides to make a throw over there, and diving back safely is Nick Bernick. Scheduled to be a pretty chilly night tonight in Jamestown. Overnight low around 48 degrees. Cut and a miss on the high pitch by Wong, and Colin Stack's perfect run at the plate is over, as you probably expected would happen at some point. And now he has that out of the way. Here is Ben Brookover. He's 1 for 2 in the night. Singled in the hole between short and third and came around to score back in the first and hit a pop out to right fielder of the Newark Pilots, Colton Carney, back in the second. Up now in the third and takes the first pitch on the outside corner. Strike 1 called. No balls and 1 strike. Bernick down at first still. Has a good lead. High chopper toward the shortstop. He backhands it. It's not going to be able to get Bernick, and the throw over to first pops out of the glove of Peter Battaglia. That allows Bernick to get the third. Ben Brookover down at first base. Give Brookover a single on that high chopper that was backhanded by Tyler Odekirk. And then move Nick Bernick over to third on a throwing error. Pretty sure Ben had that beaten out. And that's the way they scored it here. 7 runs, 7 hits now for the Jammers. And only 1 out for Chris Conley. Two errors on the night for the Pilots. Conley pops it up. Is it playable? Giving chase is the catcher, Pon, and also third baseman, Leone. And it hits in the third base bleachers. You hear the distinctive tink of the aluminum bleachers. Scotty James getting a rest tonight. Scotty was doing everything yesterday. Ground crew work. He was the bat boy. He was in the pillow fight. He had a full night, to say the least. Scotty is not having to do the bat boy duties tonight. Still having a busy night, as he always does. Next pitch to Chris Conley misses low, and the count is now even at 1. Peng-Fei Wong in relief of tonight's starter Will Frank. 1-1 pitch. Nice one right down the middle, taken by Christ, and the count now 1-2 strikes. You know, I promised you numbers on Will Frank. Let me give those to you here before the next pitch. Inning and 2/3, 15 batters, 7 runs, 6 hits. Walked 4 and struck out 1. 69 pitches over those inning and 2/3. 1-2 pitch to Conley in the hole between first and second into right field, scoring Nick Bernick and sending Ben Brook over to second base. And the Jammers now lead by a score of 8-0. RBI single to right by Chris Conley. Well placed. Anthony Barone making a little change in the lineup at the top of the order, and it's paying dividends. Skylar Valentine steps in, spanked one. He pulled one into left field in his last at-bat, driving home a run. He walked and picked up an RBI back in the first. And the first pitch misses outside to Skylar. It's ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to the right-handed hitting center fielder of the Jammers. Next pitch from Wong catches the outside corner that time. The count's now even at 1 on Skylar Valentine. 8 runs and 8 hits for the Jammers. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out and 2 on. Skylar fouls off that pitch to make it a 1-2 strike count. It's in the distinctive aluminum of the bleachers down the first base line. The first 3 rows are chairback seats, and then you have standard bleacher seating the rest of the way to the top. Except you do have the back support on the next, let's see what that is, 1, 2, 3, 6. Next 6 rows have back support. And then your last 2 rows without back support, but that last row is up against the back of the seating, so not bad. By the way, the pitch to Skylar was ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 on, 1 out. Off-speed pitch, Skylar just gets a piece of it. Off the end of the bat, he had to look at it to see if he had maybe chipped the end of the bat. That happened to Chris Conley last night. He had so many fouls off the end of the bat, he eventually had pieces of that bat falling off. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. And with a break-even pitch, Peng-Fei Wong. Ground ball up the middle, shortstop, Odekirk takes it, steps on the bag, throws to first, an inning and double play. Skylar Valentine hits into. That'll do it for the Jammers in their half of the third, but they do bring across another run on 3 hits. And just that one error is all I have, but I don't know. The public address guy just said, I don't know, there was an error on that play. I'm inclined to get Ben Brook over the hit and get an error in there to allow Bernick to get the third, but that's just me. We have completed now here at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, and the score, Jammers 8 and the Newark Pilots nothing. More after this on the Jamestown Jammers.
Goodwill.org. That's Goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill in the Seattle.
Back at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, Quinn Taylor getting his first start tonight and getting the backing offensively of his Jamestown Jammers teammates. Walking out there with an 8-0 lead. It's got to make you feel confident out there. Not without his struggles, though, so far in the night for Quinn Taylor. Strike zone at times seems to come and go for Quinn. Seems to be dead on for a period of time and then just loses it for a little while. See if he can have a solid fourth here. So far in the ball game for Quinn Taylor, he has thrown 44 pitches, 24 strikes, and 20 balls. Make that 21 balls. Ball one to the leadoff batter, Over Torres, the center fielder. Some heat that time from Taylor, and it misses a bit high outside, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Torres at the plate for a second trip. Hits this one high in the air, shallow center. Going back is second baseman Nick Bernick. Skylar Valentine was playing pretty deep with Torres at the plate, and dare I say, may have been able to catch that, should Nick Bernick not have been able to. He didn't need to. Nick handled it. And that's out number one. 1 up, 1 down. Brant Nowaski at the plate. And Nowaski takes that one in the dirt. Bounces away from catcher Chris Conley, and it's ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. No weather issues tonight here at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. Just a typically cool early summer evening. Of course, we don't officially begin summer until later this month on the 21st, first day of summer. Inside in the dirt, rolls all the way to the home plate grandstand. Ball 3. 3-0 the count to Brent Nowaski. Colton Carney to follow. There's a fastball right down the middle, as you might expect, and proving that he can hit that strike zone, Quinn Taylor makes it 3 balls and 1 strike. Quickly coming back to Nowaski. Ground ball up the middle, over for it. Alex O'Donnell digs it out, makes a strong throw over to Ben Brookover. How solid has Alex O'Donnell been in it so far this season? Outstanding. 2 up, 2 down. Colton Carney will step right fielder, right-handed hitter. He was hit by a pitch back in the second. Stole second, advanced to third on a pass ball, but that's where he remained. At the end of the second, high chopper charging Estrada, gets it in a mid-range hop, throws over just in time. Colton Carney motoring down the first base line, but Chris Estrada guns him out. Ends up being a 3 up, 3 down inning for Quinn Taylor and the Jammers. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We've now completed 3.5, and the score, Jammers 8, Pilots nothing. We have more coming up right after this on the Jamestown Jammers.
Ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the Mall Ads Daily on Pennswood.net Classified. Some cars, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Pennswood at any area.
Jamestown Jammers back at the plate here for the bottom of inning number 4, and we'll start with third baseman Chris Estrada plate for a third trip. Hit into a fielder's choice, but eventually came around to score back there in the first inning, and popped out to the shortstop of the Newark Pilots, Tyler Oderick, back in inning number 2, up here in the 4th, and the first pitch by Peng Fei Wong is another one is where you can order whatever item of food you can think of from the time it leaves his hands to the time it makes it to the plate. It's ball one. 1-0 the count. And that one is right in there at about the same speed, a little bit faster. Maybe he figured gravity took over and pulled that other one down there for a ball. 1-1 the count and the pitch. Off-speed pitch again. And Chris Estrada has a little bit of a cut at it and misses. And the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. One thing about this move, you're used to typical pitching and seeing any number of fastballs and what have you. And there Wong throws his fastball well out of the strike zone in the left-hander's batter's box with right-handed hitting Chris Estrada at the plate. It's ball 2 and the count's even at 2. And the break-even pitch from Wong. That off-speed pitch, and he waits on it just enough, does Estrada, but he pulls it foul down the left field line. And the count remains even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Children's Day, Kids Day, Education Day, whatever you want to call it. Tomorrow, 11:05 start right here at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. 2-2 pitch on the way from Wong. Outside corner, strike 3 called. Chris Estrada. It'll bring up designated hitter Cross. Cross on the night is 1 for 1, but he's been on base twice. Doubled and sack in the first when the Jammers brought 5 across the plate, and he walked in the second inning. 8 runs on 8 hits for the Jammers. No errors, by the way, too. That pitch well outside, taken by Cross, and ball 1. Newark has a 0 for runs, a 1 for hits, and a 2 for errors on the scoreboard. 8-0 Jammers lead the pitch. Well inside and ducking down is Matt Cross to get out of the way of it, and it did not hit him. It's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes to the right-handed hitting DH, Matt Cross. That pitch just misses a little bit inside, and it's ball 3. The young man from North Tonawanda, New York, at the plate for the Jammers with a 3-0 count on him. Wong's pitch. Waits on it, hits it high in the air, pretty deep. Center fielder Torres has to go back, and he does so into left center field and makes the catch of the fly ball off the bat of Matt Cross. 2 up, 2 down. Peng Fei Wong having a reasonably effective inning here so far. I think that slow pitch that Wong throws is kind of a rope-a-dope deal, where he throws you that. And he can bring a fastball with a good bit of velocity, especially as he just did there. It's strike 1. And that pitch looks awfully fast after you've seen that off-speed pitch. 0-1 delivery. There's that off-speed. Gravity pulled that baby right down to the ground. It's ball 1, and the count's even at 1. One ball, 1 strike. Nobody aboard, 2 out the pitch. Sharply hit up the middle, over for it. Second baseman, that is. Christian Orr makes the throw to Peter Battaglia to retire Alex O'Donnell and the Jammers here in their half of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And the score now at the end of 4. Jammers 8, Pilots nothing. We'll be back with more after we take this time out. It's Jamestown Jammers Baseball, and it's on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
A boy born fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent, 1 in 260,000. Odds of him having 15 career NASCAR victories, 1 in 1.
Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park, the home of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League action going on tonight between the Jamestown Jammers and the Newark Pilots. And the home team has a bit of a smile on their face as they lead this one 8-0 as we head into the top half of the fifth inning. First at bat in the ball game for the Pilots' new catcher from Taiwan. And he bows to the home plate umpire, Rick Elrod, before he steps in. Pochuan Pan at the plate from Taichung City in Taiwan. And the first pitch to him, Quinn Taylor misses outside. Ball one. Pochuan Pan at the plate, and the count now 1-1 on him. One ball, one strike pitch. Catches outside corner in the count 1-2. As I say, his first at bat in tonight's ball game. And his first at-bat overall, line drive toward right field. Colin Stack was playing right about midway, and he had to come in a couple of steps, but he makes the catch of the line drive off the bat of Pun, and that is out number one. So popped out to Colin Stack back in inning number two for the final out of that inning. First pitch to him by Taylor is strike one. No balls and one strike. Quinn working a little better here in the fifth inning. Maybe it took him a while to get loose. 0-1 pitch. Outside low, and the count's even at one. One ball and one strike. Christian Orr out of Clay, Ohio, attending Saginaw Valley State. The pitch from Taylor misses inside, and the count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Quinn Taylor's next one. Ooh, that had to just be a bit high. And the count is now 3 balls and 1 strike.
First batter is number 7, Christian Deaton.
Outside corner, Christian Orr thought he had ball 4, but as a matter of fact, he started that trot down toward first base, and he gets called back because it's strike 2, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Based on what I saw last night, if I were the Pilots' dugout, I'd just kind of be quiet right now. The 3-2 pitch is outside and low, ball 4, so Orr does get to make that walk down to first. It'll bring up shortstop Tyler Odekirk back in inning number 1. He did reach on a walk back in the third, eventually forced out. Burnick to O'Donnell as part of a double play.
Yes, Nick Burnick, B-E-R-N-I-C-K.
Eight 8-0 Jammers lead, top of the fifth. Runner down at first in Christian Orr, and 1 out. Check swing foul. Ends up going over the first base bleachers. Our patron in the top row was ducking. I can tell you it was nowhere near you. No balls in one corner. Strike 2. Barely does it catch that corner, and also as far as the height of that pitch. Looked a little bit low from up here, but as I say, things get distorted when you're up high in a press box. 0-2 the count. Quinn Taylor with the pitch. Off goes the runner, Orr. And it is fouled at the plate. And now there's a dispute there as to whether that was fouled at the plate or if he never made contact. If he fouled at the plate, of course, Christian Orr is going to have to go back to first. Thank you. That's where he goes. Anthony Barone coming out to make sure that they got the call correct. And the count remains no balls and 2 strikes on Odekirk. Back at first base, Christian Orr with a good lead off the bag and the pitch. Taylor misses outside low, and the count now 1-2. Quinn Taylor, 6 foot, $193, out of Marlton, New Jersey, attending Felician. He's a sophomore there. 1-2 pitch. Snap throw down to first by Chris Conley, not in time to get Christian Orr. Ball 2 to Odekirk. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Quinn Taylor with the break-even pitch. He turns his back and gets hit on a butt cheek. Does Tyler Odekirk, and makes his way down to first. And more balls brought out for the home plate umpire. Batter. Christian Orr at second. Odekirk down at first. 2 on and 1 out. 1 hit in the ball game for the Pilots so far. Jorge Leon reached on a walk back in the first, and then was part of a double play back in the third. 4-6-3 retired. First pitch to Leon. In there, strike 1 called. Pilots have had a runner over to third tonight. 0-1 the count and the pitch. Misses inside. The count now 1-1 on Jorge Leon. Third baseman of the Pilots. Leon came into the game hitting a $125, 1 for 8 on the early season. 1-1 pitch. Launched foul over the third base bleacher area. And the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jorge Leon. Pochuan Pond was retired on a line drive out to Colin Stack to start the inning. Christian Orr walked. He's down at second. Tyler Odekirk was hit by a pitch. He's down at first. And the next pitch to Leon was ball 2. Count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here in the top of the 5th inning. 8-0 Jammers lead. Quinn Taylor's pitch. Grounded down the first base line, foul. Just love Ben Brookover's approach. He got over there. He had straddled the line, and he knew that was not a fair ball. There was no panic. Just calmly did what he should do. And many things that Ben Brookover does ends up being in that. He just kind of does what he should do. No big deal. 2-2 pitch. Ooh, just misses low. It's ball 3. 3-2 now to Jorge Leon. Quinn Taylor a pitch away from loading the bases here with Pilots in the top of the 5th inning. Only 1 hit in the game for the Newark Pilots. Payoff pitch. Grounded in the hole between first and second into right field. Colin Stack is up with it, and he throws toward the plate. Short hop, skips away from Chris Conley. and that allows the runners to move up. RBI single to right by Jorge Leon. Kirk makes his way over to third on the throw, and also making his way up to second on the throw was Jorge Leon. And that brings Anthony Barone out of the Jammers dugout. And handing the ball to Anthony Barone is Quinn Taylor, and his evening is done as he goes 4 1/3. We'll give you some numbers for him in just a second. Check to see who has come into the game for the Jamestown Jammers. Bring in a lefty out of the pen.
Now pitching for your Jammers from Canisius College, number 19, Nolan Hunt.
So Nolan Hunt comes in out of the bullpen. Nice performance by Nolan the other night. He will face John Balliet to start his night, as Quinn Taylor ended up giving his first run of the night on the single by Leon, only the second hit of the game for the Pilots, driving home Christian Orr, who had walked with one out in this top of the fifth inning.
Tomorrow morning, tuning at 11:05 a.m. It's the same, once again, the Newark Pilots. It's our school day and work day.
And so the warm-up tosses being by Nolan Hunt out there on the hill for Barone. And the numbers for Quinn Taylor on his first of 2017 for the Jammers goes 4 1/3, 20 batters, 1 run, 2 hits. He walked 4, struck out 1, hit 2 batters, 75 pitches, 39 strikes, and 36 balls.
Once again, Jammers fans, our pro shop is open for merchandise for you to take home.
So, John Balliet will step in to face the lefty Nolan Hunt. Sorry about that, John. I know it's Balliet, but worked at St. Francis University, and we had a point guard named Christy Balliet, spelled the same way, so I'm probably going to slip on that a few times over the course of the games between Newark and Jamestown. Nolan Hunt's first pitch to Balliet is outside and low, ball 1. John came into the game averaging .500, started all 3 games, 6 for 12 up to this point with a couple of runs scored. 1-0 pitch catches the outside corner that time to even things up at 1-1. Balliet flied out to Christian Deaton back in the first inning in left field and then doubled in the left center gap in the third. Next pitch by Hunt misses low, and the count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Two-one the count. Nolan Hunt's 2-1 pitch. Catches that inside corner to the left-handed hitting Balliet. Counts even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the break-even pitch. Off-speed delivery. Gravity grabbed that one. Pulled it right down to the ground. Counts now full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Jammer season started a week ago with a win against Saugerties. 3-2 pitch, ground ball. Chris Estrada charges, throws, and gets John Balliet, but it does allow the runner at third, Tyler Odekirk, to score. Leon stays put at second base, and Balliet retired 5-3. It'll bring up Peter Battaglia. with 2 out and a runner at second. Battaglia takes the first pitch outside. That is ball 1. Battaglia on the night. Got on base on a fielder's choice in the first. Struck out swinging in the third. Off-speed pitch. Pulled down the third baseline. Estrada up with it over to Brookover. And that'll do it for Newark in their half of inning number 5. Couple of runs across for the Pilots that time around. On a hit, no Jamestown errors, and 1 runner left on base. The score now at the end of 4.5, Jammers 8, and the Newark Pilots 2. Back with the Jammers half of the 5th after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Chris, you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
There's your comic book collection, the race car bed.
I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I'm taking control over my financial life, and that feels pretty grown up to me.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Are those footy pajamas?
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Back at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, where the Jammers have an 8-2 lead in game number 5 of 2017. Going back to last week, started with Socrates, got a win there, then played Geneva and lost. We were scheduled to play in Elmira on Sunday, and we did not make it because Mother Nature had other ideas. That'll be made up in a future trip there, the 18th. At Elmira, we'll play 2 7-inning games coming up June 19th at Dunn Field. First pitch to Christian Deaton is strike 1 called. No balls, 1 strike. Deaton, the leadoff batter for the Jammers here in their half of inning number 5. There's the one that you could probably order donuts, and they'd get to you in time by the time the ball got to the plate. 1-1 the count here to Deaton. And the pitch. Long misses outside high, and the count now 2 balls and 1 strike to Christian Deaton. Christian at the plate for 3rd trip. Singled and stole a base back in the first and popped out to the shortstop back in the 2nd inning for the final out of that inning. That pitch is in there, and the count's now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. All kinds of 2s out there on the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 runs for Newark in the 5th. 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 errors as well for Newark. Ooh, off-speed pitch well out in front of it. Christian Deaton. He falls prey to Ping Fei Wong's speed changes and strikes out. Got the kids doing the batting order this time around, and Nick Bernick announced to the plate. And just in that little bit of time over the last half hour, you just feel that drastic change in the temperature here at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. I have a full-fledged hoodie on. I'm in the Anthony Barone Club. We're both dressed like Quinn the Eskimo. First pitch to Bernick, a strike. 0-1 the count. Nick has a healthy cut at that and misses. Strike 2. 2 strikes. Nick struck out swinging back in the first, singled and scored in the 3rd. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody aboard. 0-2 pitch. Jost misses outside, held there by the catcher, Po Chuan Pan. One ball, 2 strikes. And Bernick calls time as Wong takes too long out there in the hill. Now, Wong is not listed as a pitcher. He's listed as an infielder. That pitch is up around the head of Nick Bernick. He ducks underneath that. And it misses him. And the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Depending on how this game continues to go, you may see somebody else up in the Pilots bullpen as we go along. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. The pitch from Wong is fouled back by Bernick right off the facade of the press box. And right back down in the field. Count even at 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. 1 out. Peng-Fei Wong on the hill with a 2-2 pitch. It's like a mid-speed delivery that time, and Nick Bernick cuts and misses. That's strike 3. 2 strikeout swingings for Peng-Fei Wong here in his half of the 5th inning against the Jamestown Jammers. Back around to the top of the order for the Jammers and Colin Stack. Stack's perfect run at the plate ended back in the 3rd when he struck out swinging. First pitch to him, some speed on it over the outside part of the plate, but missing. Ball 1. Prior to that, Stack singled and scored in the 1st, stole a base. Singled and scored after he stole a base in the 2nd. There's the snoozer pitch, and it's in there. It counts even at 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. I could have made a grilled cheese sandwich till that got in there. Next pitch misses. It's ball 2, and the count 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Wong's pitch hammered to center field. It's well over the head of Torres, and it's all the way to the wall. Hits at the base of the wall. Colin Stack around second on his way to 3rd, and that's a triple for Colin Stack. Anthony Barone juggling the batting order for the Jammers, paying dividends with Stack. Now 3 for 4 on the night. And it brings up Ben Brookover. Now, Colin Stack would have been here to start the season, but you see UMBC was in the postseason. Playing their way through that. Stack got here yesterday, made an instant impression then, and continues to do so tonight. Ben Brookover at the plate with Stack at 3rd and 2 out, and the first pitch to him, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. Peng-Fei Wong's pitch. Catches the outside corner, the count 0-2. Quickly on Ben Brookover. Christian Deaton led off the inning, struck out swinging. Bernick did the same. Then Stack hit that triple to almost straightaway center field. The 0-2 pitch well outside in the left-hander's batter's box. Ben, of course, the right-handed hitting first baseman for Anthony Barone. The count 1-2. The new Taipei, Taiwan resident brings that pitch. There's that off-speed pitch, and Ben was way out in front of it. And Peng-Fei Wong's success based on what everybody expects out of a pitcher in American baseball, and that's not what they're getting from Peng-Fei Wong. He strikes out the side. Colin Stack managed to sneak a triple in there as well. For the Jammers, no runs on that hit. No errors for the Pilots, and a runner left at 3rd. The score at the end of 5 is the Jammers 8 and the Pilots 2. More after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
And we're back for the Pilots half of the sixth, and the Jammers holding on to a 6-run lead, 8-2 here as we head to the top half of the sixth. Chris Conley had the tools of ignorance off. He was on deck while Ben Brookover was at the plate there in the bottom of the fifth inning. He had to get everything back on. He did so, and his friend Matt Cross, fellow catcher who's the DH tonight, went out and caught some of the early warm-up tosses from Nolan Hunt. Hunt in relief of tonight's starter, Quinn Taylor.
Leading off in the top of the sixth, the center fielder number 3, Ober Torres.
Ober Torres at the plate. Torres hit a pop out to Colin Stack for the first out of the second, and popped up into shallow center for a ball that was handled by Nick Bernick for the first out of the fourth. Then he cuts and misses at the first pitch from Nolan Hunt for strike one. Torres, the right-handed hitting center fielder of the Newark Pilots. 0-1 pitch on its way from Hunt, bunted at, and it makes it almost the whole way up to the press box. That's one that I would have tried to catch. That would have been a no harm, no foul deal there. It ends up being strike two, no balls and 2 strikes. Torres from Elizabeth, New Jersey, attending Yavapai. Freshman. Cuts and misses, strike 3. And that is out number 1. Nolan Hunt trying to get a couple scoreless wins in here. Brant Nowoski at the plate. Nowoski is 0 for 2, grounding out to Chris Estrada back in the second inning for the second out there, and then grounding out to Alex O'Donnell. Nowoski, left-handed hitter, takes the first pitch, and that is ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. That pitch hits in front of the plate, bounces back to Chris Conley. He handles it. 2 balls and no strikes to Brant Nowoski. On deck, Colton Carney, the right fielder. 2-0 pitch. Outside corner, count now 2-1 on Nowoski. Brant Nowoski in his first at-bat for the Newark Pilots watches that pitch go across the middle of the plate, and the count is even at 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Nobody aboard, 1 out. Top of the 6th. Break-even pitch, off-speed delivery. Nolan Hunt kind of aiming that one to a degree, and it ends up going low, and it's ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Three-two pitch. Nowoski watches strike 3 over the outside corner. An emphatic strike 3 called by Rick Elrod, the home plate umpire. And so far, 2 up, 2 down on strikeouts, 1 swinging, 1 called. Regular Colton Carney steps in, right-handed hitter, hit by pitch back in the second, made it to third, but never came across the plate. And he grounded out to Chris Estrada in the fourth. Pops this one up in the infield. OD makes the call all the way over from his shortstop position to right in front. Bernick looked at him like, what? I'm not allowed to catch that? And it ends up being OD making the catch. That will do it for Newark as they go 3 up, 3 down here in the top of the 6th. No runs, no hits, no Jammers errors, and nobody left on base. The score now at the end of 5.5, Jammers 8, Pilots 2. More after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes.
But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
Back at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, for the fifth game of the 2017 season for the Jamestown Jammers. Coming into tonight's action with a record of 2-2. Trying to get back up over the 500 mark again. Started the season 1-0, then 1-1, then 2-1, and now 2-2. As the Jammers, Chris Conley steps in to face the reliever that came in for tonight's starter, Will Frank. Peng-Fei Wong. First pitch from Wong, a big cut and a miss by Chris Conley. He may have been up there waiting for one of those order a sandwich pitches, and instead he got one of Wong's faster ones. Strike one. No balls, one strike. There's that floater from Wong, and it's ball one. The count's even at one on Chris Conley. Chris has been on base all three trips, walked and scored in the first, walked and scored in the second. RBI single in the third. Up here in the bottom of the sixth. The 1-1 pitch hits him. And, of course, the speed that Wong throws, it didn't appear to be that much of a problem for Chris Conley. Another hit by pitch, and it brings up Skylar Valentine.
Now up the bat, the center fielder number 2, Skylar Valentine.
Skylar is 1 for 2 on the evening, and he has a couple of RBIs to boot. Walked and drove in a run back in the first. And he hit an RBI single. He pulled one to left field back in the second, then grounded out to short in the third. First pitch to him, medium speed from the pitcher Peng-Fei Wong, and it's strike one over the middle of the plate. And you get some pretty serious loosening going on down there in the Pilots' bullpen. 0-1 the count. Skylar way out in front of that sandwich pitch. Maybe I ought to call it a pizza pitch, may be better. Of course, that's just because I'm hungry for some pizza. No balls and 2 strikes, the count to Valentine. Conley down at first. Leadoff man hit by a pitch. 8-2 Jammers lead here in the bottom half of the sixth. 0-2 pitch. Just misses. Held there a long time by the catcher for the Newark Pilots, Po Chuan Pan. Did not get a call to count 1-2, and not a way to maybe get a call in the future. Never try to show up the umpire. Well, the pizza pitch is popped up, and Po Chuan Pan makes the catch in foul territory, and Skylar Valentine's out number 1.
Now on the back of third baseman number 16, Chris Estrada.
Chris Estrada steps in for Anthony Barone's Jammers. Runner down at first base, Chris Conley with 1 away. Estrada has scored tonight, reached on a fielder's choice back in the first, also stole a base while he was out there. Popped out to the shortstop, Tyler Odekirk, in the second. Called out on strikes in the fourth. Peng-Fei Wong's pitch, high chopper, and it's off the glove of the third baseman, Jorge Leon, who was trying to field that. Chris Conley alertly continues right on past second and all the way up to third when he saw that ball pop away from Jorge Leon.
Now up the bat, the DH number 20.
And And Estrada will reach on an error charge to the third baseman, Jorge Leon. Conley at third, Estrada at first, and DH Matt Cross steps in. Matt doubled and scored back in the first, walked in the second, hit a pretty deep fly ball out in the fourth, caught by center fielder Over Torres. One out with runners at the corners. Peng Fei Wong on the hill with the pitch. Catches outside corner, strike one called. The activity has ceased now in the bullpen for the Pilots. Peng Fei Wong came in out of the bullpen for John Mayotte. He's gone 3 2/3 so far. Toss over to first to send Chris Estrada back to the bag. Another quick toss over. A little too quick. Estrada was just starting to get his lead off the bag at first, so just kind of turned and did not catch him off guard. 0-1 pitch. Grounded down the third base line, just foul. It's strike two. No balls and 2 strikes on Matt Cross. Jammers ahead by 6, but have an opportunity to add on here in the bottom half of the 6th inning with Chris Conley at third and 1 out. Deep fly ball would do it. 0-2 pitch. Misses outside, and the count now 1-2. Once again, Pochuan Pan holds that there and does not get a call. One ball, 2 strikes. And time is called by Matt Cross as Peng Fei Wong takes too long. Just stop right there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wong going to go outside again. And the pitch. Grounded foul down the first base line. And for something to do, Pete Battaglia goes over and makes a nice play on it. Clearly in foul territory. Right now, with the way the temperature's been dropping, you're anxious to get any kind of physical activity in to keep the old body warm. Count remains 1-2 on Cross. Peng Fei Wong with a 1-2 pitch. Well outside and moving down to second base. Give him a stolen base, Chris Estrada. Estrada's second stolen base of the night. Last time he did that, he came around to score, so let's hope that bodes well for this time as well. 2-2 the count on Cross in the infield in now all the way around. Everybody in on the grass. Estrada at second, Conley at third. And the break-even pitch. Cross hits it high in the air, deep to center field. Torres goes back and makes the catch. Conley tags at third. He'll come home with the 9th Jamestown Jammers run, and the Jammers are up 9-2.
Your Jammers and score! Now up the back to shortstop number 1, Alex O'Donnell.
OD at the plate with a runner at second in Chris Estrada. Chris Conley scores, by the way, after he was hit by a pitch. Never seen a guy that can make more happen than Chris Conley. It's amazing. See if Estrada can steal a third base for the night. Has a healthy lead off the bag at second. 1-0 count to Alex O'Donnell. Next pitch by Wong goes way outside. Nice stop by Pochuan Pan. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes to O'Donnell. 2-0 the count. Peng Fei Wan's pitch right down the middle, taken by OD. Count now 2 balls and a strike. 2 out for the Jammers here in the bottom half of inning number 6 with a runner at second, Chris Estrada. Alex O'Donnell will be attending Mercyhurst this fall. 2-1 pitch to him. That's outside and low, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Jammers in the first full week of the season playing 5 at home, and they got 1 more to start their second week. Nice way to start the season and get organized, and now the guys will have a chance to get to know each other just a little bit better as they get crowded into a bus and we start to trek around the Empire State. 3-1 the count on OD, and stepping off and walking back toward the runner at second, Chris Estrada, is Peng Fei Wang. Estrada goes back, touches up. Second baseman Orr almost in on the bag. If OD could go to the opposite field, that may score Estrada. The pitch is on the outside corner, strike 2. And the count is full on the right-handed hitting shortstop Alex O'Donnell. And the full count pitch is on its way from Wong. Off-speed delivery, hit toward the second baseman. Up with it is Orr. And over, stretching out to get it is Battaglia. And Pete just managed to get enough of it and hang on there at first base. OD grounds out the second baseman Orr to end the inning. For the Jammers, they get a run across on no hits. There was an error charge to the Newark Pilots. They now have 3 on the night. And let's see, who all did we have left out there? Just Chris Estrada. 1 runner left on base. The score now at the end of 6. Jammers 9, Pilots 2. Back with more after this timeout on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The old pillow fights. You're between innings entertainment here at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park as we get set for the Pilots half of the 7th. Nolan Hunt continues out on the hill for Anthony Barone's Jammers, and he'll face Pochuan Pond, Christian Orr, and Tyler Odekirk. Pond at the plate for a second time. Line drive out to the right fielder, Colin Stack, for the first out of the 5th inning, up here now in the 7th. Jammers lead back up to 7 after bringing a run across there in the 6th, leading 9-2. Hunt's first pitch. Pond pops it up. It's over and in the first base bleachers, right in the first row. Nobody occupying that, and it bounces out of the stands and retrieved by one of the Pilots, I believe. They'll find it eventually. Right there, that's it. 0-1 the count to Pond. That pitch in the dirt and bounces straight up in the air. The count's even at 1. That may have been Peng Fei Wang's last inning of work, as that appears to be, once again, I've been fooled by this by head coach John Mayotte. I've been fooled before into thinking that there may be a new pitcher. Jordan Miller is warming in the pen, the righty. The next pitch that is to Pond was in there for a strike, and that one's inside in the dirt, and the count's even at 2 on the right-handed hitting catcher for the Newark Pilots. Dominic Palma started the game. And then when Wong came in to relieve, he went around, yes indeed. Pond tried to check his swing, but there were a number of things going against him there, not the least of which was his body in motion, and he just couldn't stop it. And he strikes out swinging. 1 gone in the Pilots' half of inning number 7. Second baseman Christian Orr steps in. First pitch from Hunt, right down the middle, strike 1. Christian Orr at the plate, drawing the attention. Chris Estrada came flying down there. Thought that Orr may be trying to bunt. Orr scoring one of the 2 Pilots runs. He did that after he walked back in the 5th. But he's behind now, no balls and 2 strikes to Nolan Hunt. Hunt, the lefty, out of the bullpen for Anthony Barone, brings the 0-2 pitch. Outside in the left-hander's batter's box, and the count 1-2. Hunt so far, this is 3rd game. Adding innings up here. Opponents averaging .250 against him. And his ERA is that nice goose egg that you get at this time of the year. Next pitch in the dirt. Taken by Orr, ball 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Nobody aboard, 1 out, top of the 7th, and the Jammers up 9-2. Pitch inside, and Orr kind of scooches out of the way. Ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nolan Hunt with a 3-2 pitch. Line drive, foul down the third base line. Chris Estrada was going over there, but I think Chris knew that was pretty much a foul ball at a certain point. There is activity in the Jammers bullpen as well. Three-2 the count by Christian Orr as Hunt takes too long for his liking. I think that could be Connor Ryan loosening. The next pitch from Hunt is ball 4. Making his way down to first is Christian Orr. Nope, it's Isaac Mesa warming in the Jammers bullpen. Orr down at first. Odekirk, the shortstop, is at the plate. And the first pitch to Odekirk misses, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to the right-handed hitting shortstop, who did score in the 5th inning after he was hit by a pitch. And he takes a cut, and that's fouled off the end of the bat. Yes, indeed. Get the man a little chalk for the cue stick. Count. Even at 1. One ball, 1 strike. Toss over to first, and diving back in safely, Christian Orr. Odekirk on the night. Grounded out to Nick Bernick. Also, was part of the front end of a double play back in the third after he had walked, hit by a pitch in the fifth, and scored. Count now 2 balls and 1 strike on Tyler Odekirk. It's a high drive deep to center field. Valentine goes back, though, and gets right underneath it and makes the catch. Can he cover ground or what? Jeez. Skylar Valentine. With what he makes look like a routine catch out in center field. That's because it's Skylar Valentine. Not much routine about it. He's just that quick. As it has been said by the folks down south, quick as a hiccup. Toss over to first by Nolan Hunt to send Christian Orr back to the bag. I have another phrase for you for quickness, but Christian Orr is going to try to display his quickness and throw down to second base. Chris Conley catches Christian Orr trying to steal as OD is right there, and another Conley throw that's right on the bag. Bang, bang at second base. Christian Orr erased, caught stealing, and that'll do for the Pilots in their half of inning number 7. No runs across, no hits, no jammers, errors, and nobody left. The at the end of 6 1/2. Jammers 9, Pilots 2. More after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Penswood.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple ads daily on Penswood.net Classifieds. From cars, trucks, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Penswood.net at any time of the day or night and find something that fits your needs. Looking for household items, student housing, or even a new pet? Penswood.net Classifieds has it. Penswood.net, where you can buy, sell, or trade locally.
And Peng Fei Wong night is done on the hill, but a nice relief outing by the young man who throws a pitch that's slow enough to, well, I'd say if you were pouring molasses out in 42 degrees, it'd hit your pancakes faster than what Peng Fei Wong would get a ball to the plate. He's replaced by Jordan Miller. Let's give you Fei Wong's final numbers as we head to the bottom of the seventh for the Jamestown Jammers. Peng Fei Wong goes 4 1/3. Faces 19 batters, gives up 2 runs, 4 hits. He walked nobody and struck out 5. He did hit a batter, 80 pitches. 52 of those were strikes. Were balls. Not a bad performance at all for a guy that's listed on the Pilots roster as an infielder. Anthony Barone looking out to his bullpen, probably keeping an eye on whether Isaac Meza is come into the game. He continues to loosen as Christian Deaton steps in to lead things off for the Jammers in their half of inning. And the first pitch is a fastball high from Jordan Miller, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Inside and low. And two balls and no strikes to Christian Deaton. Jordan Miller now in his second game. So far has pitched 2 1/3. Gave up 4 hits and 5 runs in his outing. And of course that makes his ERA kind of ugly, 15.43. That'll change as the season goes on. Christian Deaton at the plate, 3-0 the count on him. And the 3-0 pitch misses high, ball 4. So the leadoff man is on for the Jammers. And it brings up second baseman Nick Bernick. Nick is 1 for 3 tonight. He did come around to score in the third when Jammers added a single run. Jammers started the scoring with a dandy first inning, 5 runs, scored 2 in the second, 1 in the third. one in the sixth. Newark scored their 2 runs in the fifth inning. It's 9-2 right now. And the pitch to Nick Bernick was a ball. Jordan Miller has yet to find the strike zone. One 0 pitch. And that is strike one called. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bit of a moral victory for Miller, hitting the strike zone for the first time since he came in. 1-1 pitch. Floats high and outside, and the count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Two one the count. Jordan Miller, the righty on the hill. Right-handed hitting. Nick Bernick at the plate takes that one outside and low, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. And Miller in his previous outing did walk 4 batters. 3-1 the count here. Nick Bernick trying to sell a ball being a bit too far inside, but home plate umpire Rick Elrod was not buying that. He calls strike 2. Counts full now to Nick Bernick. Jordan Miller's payoff pitch. Off-speed deliveries popped up. Shallow center. Torres got a late start, but... oh, he drops it. It hits off his glove. Drops it. Moving up to second base. A little bit too late is Christian Deaton, because it looked like Torres was going to make the catch. He was there, it hit his glove and fell to the ground. You want to talk about an error? I think I almost have to charge an error there. To Torres, and they do the 4th error of the night for the Newark Pilots. Torres covered a lot of ground to get there and was going to make a decent play, but ended up falling right out of his glove. So Deaton is out. (8-4), I'm sorry, make that 8-6. And Colin Stack is at the 0-2 the count on him. No balls, 2 strikes. 1 out, runner down at first, Burnick. That pitch misses, and the count now 1-2 on the right-handed hitting right fielder Colin Stack. Stack on the night, 3 for 4, including a triple back in the 5th. 1-2 pitch. Off-speed delivery, big swing and a miss by Colin, and he is out number 2. That'll bring up first baseman Ben Brookover.
Now up the bat, the first baseman number 30, Ben Brookover.
Ben's 2 for 4 on the night. Singled in the first and third innings. Otherwise, hit a fly ball out to the right fielder, and he pops this one up. Is it playable? First baseman gets over near the Newark dugout and makes the catch, does Pete Battaglia, retiring Ben Brookover and the Jammers in their half of inning number 7. No runs across for the Jammers, no hits. An error for the Newark Pilots, and a runner left on base. The score now at the end of 7 is the Jammers 9 and the Pilots 2. We'll be back with the 8th inning right after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Hi, Mom. Is Claire's birthday party today? Me again, Mom. Where did I put my history book? Hi. Sorry, forgot one last thing. Sometimes it's hard to concentrate. At school, I start looking out the window, and then I forget what I was supposed to be thinking about. I know it seems like I don't care, but I do. It's just difficult for me. Love you, Mom. Bye.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive. Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Newark, New York. Newark, New York. No, we're in Jamestown, last time I checked. We're playing the team from Newark, New York, which is the Newark Pilots. And a friendly new face out on the hill for the Jamestown Jammers is Isaac Meza. First time that we get to see Isaac, and we'll see what he brings. First thing that Chris Conley did was go out and have a chat with him. Go over where the team is as far as signs and things of that nature. And the first pitch in warm-ups by Meza. Certainly a wake-up call for Chris Conley, as Meza is a big man. Isaac Meza, 6'3", 235, from Valencia, California, attending Cal State Bakersfield. How about that? He and Christian Deaton buddies on the team for Anthony Barone this season. Meza is a freshman. That means he's going to grow yet. 6'3", 235. Wow. We'll give you some numbers for Nolan Hunt before this inning starts. Meza will face Jorge Leon, John Ballier, and Pete Battaglia. The numbers 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Newark Pilots in tonight's lineup. Final numbers on the night for Nolan Hunt: 2 2/3, 8 batters. Walked 1, struck out 3, 34 pitches, 19 strikes, and 15 balls. And the first pitch by Meza to Jorge Leon, strike 1 called. No balls and 1 strike. Isaac is an imposing figure out there in the hill. Line drive, center field, base hit. Over toward the left center gap is Skylar Valentine, and he throws in to Nick Burnick. Just off the bag at second base, a leadoff single from Jorge Leon. And the Newark Pilots try to climb back in this thing. 9-2, Jammers a 7-run lead. 2 runs, 3 hits, 4 errors for Newark. 9-9-0 for the Jammers. Off-speed delivery, and Ballier way out in front of it, strike 1. Nice pitch by Meza, showing that he can have his fastball motion but bring it at an exceedingly slow speed, and he does the same thing again, and Ballier gets a piece of it and fouls it off the mask of Chris Conley. Goes back to the home plate grandstand. It's strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes the count to Ballier. Leon with a single down at first. Has a big lead off the bag. Meza has the sign from Conley, and the 0-2 pitch. Tries the off-speed delivery again, misses high and outside. The count 1-2. Ballier in the night. Fly ball out to Christian Deaton back in the first, doubled in the third, and grounded out to Chris Estrada in the 5th. Hits a pop-up, shallow center. O'Donnell back. Skylar Valentine coming in. Skylar staying off to the left field side of OD as he was headed back. No contact between the gentlemen out there, and it's caught by OD for out number 1. 1 out, runner at first. And Pete Battaglia at the plate. Pete's 0 for 3 tonight. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first. Off-speed pitch from Meza is on the inside corner, strike 1. Battaglia struck out swinging in the third and grounded out to Estrada in the 5th. That pitch misses. Nope, it is in there. And it is strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to the right-handed hitting first baseman Pete Battaglia. Meza's 0-2 pitch caught in a miss. He came with a heat, and Battaglia could not lay off. He's a strikeout swinging victim. And it'll bring up center fielder Over Torres. Torres on the night. Fly ball out to Colin Stack back in the 2nd. Popped out to shallow center. Nick Burnett caught that back in the 4th. And he struck out swinging in the 6th. Up here in the 8th, 9-2 Jammers lead. 2 out, runner down at first is Leon, who had a leadoff single. And the first pitch is cut on and missed by Torres. And strike 1. No balls, 1 strike, and the pitch. Whew, thought that caught the inside corner. Maybe it was a bit low. It's ball 1 to Ober Torres. One ball, 1 strike, and the pitch by Meza. Catches outside corner, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two out. Leon down at first. And the 1-2 pitch. Chopped foul off the plate by Torres, and the count remains 1-2. Once again, Newark Pilots again tomorrow, but at 11:05 a.m. Kids Day, Youth Day, Children's Day, Student Day, Education Day. There's all kinds of names for it. Torres fouls that one back. Count remains 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 pitch. High heat. Torres was not chasing. Count even at 2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Leon down at first. And the pitch. Grounded down the third baseline. What a dive. Chris Estrada up, throws, and gets. Over Torres. What a play by Chris Estrada at third. And that will do it for the Pilots in the top of the 8th inning. No runs across on a hit. No errors for the Jammers, and one runner left on base. The score now, at the end of 7 1/2 innings of play, Jammers 9, Pilots 2. Back with more after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad!
Oh, come on! This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York. Another pitcher on the hill for the Newark Pilots. It's Chris. Well, it's spelled like Dick Vitale's name. It could be Vitale. I'll go with Vitale at this point. Chris Vitale out of Cheektowaga, New York. Attending Erie Community College, 6'2", $170, a left-handed pitcher. We'll give you final totals on Jordan Miller, which he did himself a little bit of a favor putting up a scoreless inning coming into the game with that 15-plus ERA. So that inning of scoreless work will help that go down a little bit. And Chris Vitale on the hill. He will face Chris Conley to start things off for the Jammers here in the bottom of the 8th. Up 9-2 in the first pitch from Vitale's on the inside corner. Strike one called. A 1 pitch. Just misses outside, and the count's even at 1 on Chris Conley. And home plate umpire Rick Elrod lectures the Pilots' dugout. After that, called ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Strike 2, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Chris Conley has been at the plate. This is 5th trip. He's been on base every other time he's been up. Couple of walks, RBI single, and hit by a pitch. Yikes. 1-2 pitch. Catches the outside corner and strike 3 called. That's close to where that other one was that the Pilots' dugout gave Elrod some grief over.
Now up the back to center fielder number 2, Skyler!
And the first pitch misses outside low, ball 1. Skyler on the night, 2 RBIs. Drove one in with a walk back in the first. Singled and drove one in the second. Out the short and popped up to the catcher in his other 2 plate appearances. The next pitch to Skyler is strike 1, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch. Misses outside, and the count now 2 balls and 1 strike. No chirping from the dugout that time. Rick Elrod has made his point. 2 balls, 1 strike to Valentine in the pitch. Misses outside, and that is ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Rick Elrod behind the plate. Leo Cintron on the bases. Cintron was behind the plate last night. This one's popped up down the right field line. Giving chase, the right fielder, Colton Carney, catches up with it about 3 feet into fair territory and makes the catch of the fly ball off the bat of Skylar Valentine. 2 up, 2 down.
Now up the back of third baseman number 16, Chris Estrada.
Anthony Barone blessed to have a third baseman like this, Chris Estrada. He has really impressed down there at third base thus far this season. Off to a pretty good start at the plate as well, but he has a cut and miss on that pitch from Vitale. And that's strike 1. Estrada reached on a fielder's choice. Stole a base while he was out there, reached on an error to Jorge Leon, and he pops that one into left field. John Ballier is underneath and makes the catch. And the Jammers go 3 up, 3 down in their half of inning number 8. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Jammers 9, Pilots 2. Back with more right after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket. But it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place. And then they act so surprised when I find them. But I'm like, hello, that's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Isaac Meza's night is done. The bullpen now for Anthony Barone. Simon.
Now pitching for
Number
third
10.
from Ball State University, number 10, Trevor Simon.
Trevor Simon's second venture onto the hill in 2017. First one did not go well. Went a third of an inning, 2 hits and 4 runs, 3 of which were earned. And there were 3 So we don't even want to mention the rest of the numbers on Trevor Simon. He's going to get those down as the season goes along, I can assure you. Colton Carney and Pochuan Pond. Nowoski on the night 0 for 3, grounding out to Estrada, also to and lefty Trevor Simon will try to get him here. Isaac Meza. Goes 1 inning, faces 4 batters, no runs, a hit. Struck out 1, 16 pitches, 13 strikes, and just 3 balls. Nice. Appearance for Isaac. Nowoski at the plate in the pitch. Off the end of the bat, foul into the netting on the home plate grandstand, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. Trevor Simon with the 0-1 pitch. Misses outside low, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count now to Brant Nowoski. Nowoski from Bruceville, Indiana. Attending Indiana State. He's a redshirt freshman there. Next pitch inside, taken by Ball two. 2 balls and a strike to Brant Nowoski. Trevor Simon to the 2 pitch. Ground ball. Second baseman Bernick into the right field grass as it bounced off the top of his glove. It's a single for Brant.
Now to bat the right fielder, number 21, Colton Carney.
Leadoff man on for the Pilots, and right fielder Colton Carney steps in. Carney is 0 for 3. Hit by a pitch back in the second. Grounded out to Estrada in the fourth. And out to the shortstop Alex O'Donnell, which he made right in front of Nick Bernick for the final out of the sixth. Carney up here in the ninth with a runner on and fouls back the first Trevor Simon pitch. Well, it says here, according to various weather sources, the current temperature in Jamestown is 57. Differ. It seems colder than that. Off-speed pitch by Simon is low, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike on Colton Carney. Carney at 6'4", 210 out of Knoxville, Ohio, and attending Seton Hill, where he's a junior. 1-1 pitch hit high in the air, pretty deep to left center field. Going back, Valentine, and he slips at the warning track, and it hits off the wall. Rounding third on his way in is and stopping at third is Colton Carney with the RBI triple off the wall at Russell E. Junior Park. Hit that one a ton. And Valentine almost got to it. But That slip on the warning track was the difference between that being an out and that being a triple. And Skyler kind of taking his time. Getting back into his center field position. I know he leaned over a little bit there. I think he's okay. I don't see anything out of the ordinary from Skyler Valentine as he walks off that slip and fall on the warning track. So runner at third now, Colton Carney. Nobody out. And Chris Conley, trying to buy a little time for his center fielder, goes out to have a chat with Simon, and then Rick Elrod, realizing that was the case, gives them a little bit of time out there on the mound, and Po Chuan Pan will step in to face Trevor Simon. Top of the ninth inning, Jammers up by a 9-3 score now. And the first pitch, well outside, ball one. 1 ball and no strikes to Pan. Been up a couple of times, hit a line drive out, that is, to Colin Stack back in the 5th, and struck out swinging in the 7th. 1-0 pitch, ripped foul down the right field line, past the bleachers and into the picnic area down the right field line at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. Pan had that line drive out the right and then struck out swinging in the 7th. It's a 1-1 count to him here. Trevor Simon's pitch, outside corner, and strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Trevor Simon trying to shut the door here on the Newark Pilots. Jammers up by 6, 9-3. 1-2 the count to Pan. And the pitch. In the dirt. In the right-hander's batter's box. Pan is a right-handed hitter. Did not touch him. Blocked by Chris Conley. Ball 2. 2-2 the count now. Trevor Simon ready to bring the break-even pitch to Po Chuan Pan. Ground ball up the middle. Alex O'Donnell dives, makes the stop, throws, and gets Pan. Run comes in to score. It's 9-4. Carney scoring from third. Pan with a ground out to Alex O'Donnell. What another great play at short by Alex O'Donnell. Well, he didn't get to play last year as far as the college scene goes. He'll be playing again for Mercyhurst coming up in 2018. And it's almost like he's got a lot of pent-up energy in there, and he's really doing a great job at short. Christian Orr, second baseman at the plate for the Pilots. First pitch to him, a strike from Trevor Simon. No balls and 1 strike. Nobody on base now and 1 out. Pitch misses inside, and the count's even at 1 on Christian Orr. Orr is just 0 for 1. Popped out to Colin Stack back in the 2nd, but walked and scored in the 5th and walked again in the 7th. 1-1 the count. Pitch low and inside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike to Christian Orr. Two balls, 1 strike. And the pitch from Simon. Outside low, ball 3. 3-1 now to Christian Orr. Newark will, I don't know if they'll stay here overnight. I would think they would with that 11:05 start tomorrow. It's not a super long trip back to Newark, but yeah, I don't see that because you're turning it back around after about 4 hours of sleep. So the Pilots will be bunking out somewhere in town here. 3-2 the count, and the pitch by Simon off the bat handle, popped up. Ben Brookover cannot get to it. And the count remains full at 3-2 on Christian Orr. Didn't hang up in the air quite long enough to give Ben the time to get over there and catch it. There is activity in the Jammers bullpen at the moment. Full count. Orr takes it outside high, ball 4. Runner at first now with one out. Connor Ryan is loosening in the Jammers bullpen. Anthony Barone is on his way out to the mound. And that will be all for Trevor Simon. Tyler Odekirk will get to face Connor Ryan, our guest tonight, with his player profile. As he sat down to talk to us about what goes on in his life. Hayden Carter meeting Trevor Simon as he comes off the field. Has a quick talk with him. Sure he had some encouraging words for Trevor. And we'll give you some final totals for him at this point. As Simon goes a third of an inning again on this particular night. See if Connor can finish this thing off for Anthony Barone and the rest of his Jamestown Jammers teammates. 2 runs across there so far in the 9th. It's now a 5-run lead for the Jammers, and a runner down at first in Christian Orr. Trevor Simon goes to third, 4 batters, 2 runs, 2 hits, walked 1. Christian Orr down at first, 19 pitches, 10 strikes, and 9 balls, and yields to Connor Ryan. Once again, Connor Ryan his player profile will be available at YouTube after tonight's action is done. Completing his warm-up tosses as the infielders had an informal get-together. Second base. Alex O'Donnell says hello to Leo Cintron on the way by, and Cintron and him exchange some pleasantries as Ryan continues his warm-up tosses. Connor Ryan from Williamsville, New York. He's attending Mercyhurst. He's a junior. A very pleasant young man to talk to. Had a great story about the one tournament he was in when his dad was so excited over the fact that he hit the back homers in that game. One that tied the game, the other one put his team ahead. Attaboy, Connor. Also, you'll get to hear the story about how his dad said, look at a roster. He said, how many position players are there? Connor played some third base. He said, now how many pitchers there are. If you're a pitcher, you're probably going to stand a better chance of getting a shot at a school, and so that's what he did, and it's paying off so far. Tyler Odekirk at the plate in the first pitch from Connor Ryan misses outside, ball one. Odekirk on the night, on base a couple of times, walked and hit by pitch. Walked in the third, hit by a pitch in the fifth. Otherwise, hit a fly ball out to Valentine in the seventh and grounded out to Nick Bernick in the first. 1 ball, no strikes the count. Ryan's pitch in the outside corner that counts even at 1. The right-handed pitcher facing the right-handed hitting shortstop Tyler Odekirk. One ball, one strike. And Connor Ryan gets that pitch. Runner goes inside corner, strike 2, and the throw down. Oh, Nick Bernick could not apply the tag. It was on the bag by Conley. Not sure what happened, but it dribbles into center field and allows Christian Orr to get out the third. The count, though, on Odekirk is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nice guy that I am. Base. And I'm inclined to give an error to Nick Bernick because that ball was right on the bag. That pitch misses high and out. To Odekirk, and the count now is 2-2. On deck is Jorge Leon of the Newark Pilots. Jammers lead 9-4. We're in the top half of the 9th inning. Jammers have given up 2 runs so far in the inning. Connor Ryan trying to bring that to an end with a 2-2 pitch. Ground ball toward Nick Bernick. Belt high hop for Nick, makes a throw to Ben Brookover, retiring Tyler Odekirk, but coming in to score is Christian Orr.
Now for back the third baseman, number 6, Jorge.
Right 2 gone now for the Pilots. Base is clean, and it's a 9-5 Jammers lead. Jorge Leon at the plate for the Pilots. Connor Ryan. Middle but low, ball 1. Leon on base 3 times tonight. Couple of singles in the 8th and also in the 5th inning. He walked back in the 1st and hit into a double play back in the 3rd. 1-0 pitch to him. Pops it up. Out of play over the third base bleacher area. Count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Connor Ryan trying to nail down the final out of the inning and the final out of the game with a 1-1 count on Jorge Leon. Jorge from Mexico City, Mexico, attending Hendricks, where he is a sophomore, and the next pitch to him is strike 2. So now the Pilots are down to their ball game. 1-2 the count on Leon. Connor Ryan trying to finish this one off. Has the sign from Conley. And brings the 1-2 pitch to Leon. High outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jamestown Jammers trying to get back over 500 again to go to 3. Pilots. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Jorge Leon calls time. Connor Ryan took too long, and so he steps out on him. Quickly back in, though, and ready to go. Here in the top of the 9th inning. Connor Ryan in relief of Trevor Simon, who started the inning. That pitch is across the middle of the plate, but hits in the dirt. On Jorge Leon, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Like to see Connor Ryan get the strikeout here, and then later tonight you can all rush over to YouTube and catch his player profile. Two pitch. High fly ball, right center field going over is Colin Stack and makes the catch on the run to retire Jorge Leon, and for the Pilots here in their half of the ninth inning. And they scored that on 2 hits. I had an error for the Jammers on that throw down to second base because I have no idea how else you're able to get Christian Orr over to third. Nobody left on base after Leon flies out the inning. And a great play in right field to bring it to an end by Colin Stack. So the final totals tonight here at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. Jammers, 9 runs, 9 hits. Check the Post Journal later, tomorrow. They will have that for you. 5 runs, 5 hits, 4 errors for the Pilots.